want to start with this. Talk about the transfer portal process. What was that like, navigating that?
Right, the transfer portal was definitely an interesting place. You've heard a lot of horror stories about guys going in and not finding other homes, and then when they don't find a home, they're like, is my coach going to take me back in my program? And sometimes they don't. I was waiting to see what was going to happen with Coach Shaw, and him resigning obviously was my green light to okay, let's go check out other schools. Knew I was going to graduate a year early, so I was like, why not go check out other schools? So got in the portal, and I began getting hit up by a ton of coaches, and obviously Coach Hand reached out to me, and it was a great feeling to talk to him for the first time and hear what he had to say about the program here, the trajectory of the program, where everything's going, and where he saw me fitting in on this football team. So the portal was crazy from a sense of I was getting hit up by a lot of different places. I went on a few visits, Northwestern, SMU, visited those schools. UCF was my other visit, and it was a pretty seamless process once I did my visits, figuring out where I was going to go, just because the coaches, I was extremely thankful to all the coaches for taking a chance on me that offered me in the portal and allowed me to come out and check it out. It was a great process once I did my visits to be able to say, I'm secure. I know I'm going to be okay at the end of the day with this portal, and not just be okay, but be great. I'm going to be able to go to a Power 5 football program at UCF and be able to have the football experience that I'm looking for right now.
And your experience at Stanford, how would you describe that, your time there?
Interesting. I would definitely say interesting. Some of my best friends are on that football team that left. I still have best friends there that are still on the football team. I'd say disappointing. It was really disappointing to lose so many games at Stanford, and that's really what drove me to finish a year early. I was not happy with the trajectory of where we were going with losing that many games. Still really thankful for the opportunity to play at Stanford, but at the end of the day, I wanted to go somewhere that I knew there's a upward trajectory right now with the football program, and I know I have faith in these coaches here that they're going to be able to get the job done from a coaching standpoint, and that they're going to have faith in us getting the job done on the football field, because it's a two-part process. Coaching and players, we all have to be on the same page. We all have to be able to dominate at our positions and our jobs, and we all have to be able to succeed at the same time for stuff to work out. So I think Stanford, I am eternally thankful for the opportunity to go to Stanford. That degree is going to pay off immensely in the future when I'm looking to get into the world that I want to get into after football, with life after football, and the connections were phenomenal that I made there. But I'm so ecstatic right now to be here with this football program, and I really can't put into words how thankful I am for this opportunity.
In regards to program trajectory, emotionally, how has it kind of hit you to see what's happened to Stanford over the last handful of weeks?
Yeah, it's really sad. Really sad. I love the guys on that football team. Coach Shaw was I love Coach Shaw. It was sad what happened with the football program, and really depressing to see all that happen. And then with obviously the dismantlement of the Pac-12, it's been really tough to be to be able to look at those guys on FaceTime or talk and be yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel right now. Now, Stanford obviously has a ton of money. I think they're going to be fine at the end of the day, but it's just sad, right? It's a sad process. I grew up watching the Pac-12, USC, UCLA, Stanford, Oregon, Washington, all these schools, right? It's tough right now to see them just throwing the Pac-12 in the dirt right now and being all right, see you guys later, we're going somewhere else. But that's life. There's going to be changes in life constantly, and it's a part of the process of making sure your football program is in a secure spot, and more than secure, dominating. So I think everyone's doing these things right now for a reason, and it's all justified in their own books. But I can only focus on my own alma mater and say it's really sad to see what's going on, and I feel for the guys back there at Stanford. But nonetheless, I think they have a good attitude going into this season, and I wish them the best.
And then in regards to UCF, what most appealed to you about here, and how has it met expectations since enrolling in the summer?
Right. Well, first off, talking to Coach Hand was amazing. Hearing what he had to say about the program as a whole, and his story as a whole is amazing. It's great. His time coaching football has been nothing short of awesome. He's done so many great things as a coach. But, Coach Malzahn, he's a household name. He was a household name at Auburn, obviously, being the head coach there, and just other places he's been at. But, everyone knows Coach Malzahn. His offense, his hurry-up offense, it's iconic. He made that thing go. So being able to play for a coach that I know is he's done it. He's beat the Nick Sabans of the world and, the other coaches of the world that have, cementing themselves up there. He is one of those guys up there. He's done the job for so long. He's been a successful coach. It's just that really put everything in perspective for me. It was like, I want to go play for a football program right now where I know the coaches are elite, the players are elite, and the program is elite. Obviously, UCF has dominated in their conference that they were in the past, and now going into the Big 12. I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this first season in the Big 12 and be a part of something special. You're only going to get this opportunity once to go into a Power 5 conference for the first time. So being a part of this program just means more right now. We want to make sure we're putting up the city of Orlando on our back right now. I mean, in reality, there's Knights everywhere. There's 72,000 undergrad at this school. They're everywhere around this country. I know UCF fans that I've met in Southern California wearing my stuff around. Hey, you go to UCF? Well, yeah, I play football there. I mean, it's awesome, right? So being able to have that on my back, the city of Orlando and then UCF as a whole, it's like I want to go out there and play for these guys. Now, another big thing for me was the faith aspect of it. These guys on staff are phenomenal men. I mean, they're good Christian men on staff, and I think I took that really to heart when I got to talk to them. And we talked a lot about our faith and how that's implemented into the program, and it really was special for me to hear, wow, these guys, they live by what they say. And, it's not all chatter. They really mean what they say. There's no beating around the bush with them, and they're going to give it to you straight, whatever they have to say, and they're going to support you at the end of the day because they love us. They always make sure to say, we love you guys, and it means something. They're not screwing with us when they say that. They're they really do love us, and we love them. I love our coaching staff. I love our players on the football team, and I think that's one of the big reasons why I was this feels like a family. And it was really special to be able to get here and kind of start developing that relationship.
How have you relied upon your faith when you've faced moments of adversity?
Right, yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. I've had obviously a lot of troublesome times, going to Stanford with the football program and where it was at when I was there. There were a lot of times where it was God, please show us the way, show me the way, show our team the way, please help us to continue or to start succeeding and to be able to stay on track with that. And then in this whole process of choosing a different school, leaving Stanford was not an easy decision. I mean, it was easy from the sense of I knew I wanted to go somewhere else and start a new chapter of my life. But when you're somewhere for so long, leaving that situation is very interesting. I mean, it's wow, I'm leaving this place. I'm not going to be there. This was my home for the last 3 years. I mean, that goes for moving states, if you're after football one day, so being able to, pray to God and ask him for guidance on where, he thought I fit and where he thought I was going to succeed. I mean, it just became clear to me that this was the best spot for me. I think this state is a wonderful place. I think the people that live here are great people. There's so many wholesome people here, and I think God really just pointed the way and said, this is where you need to go. This is where you need to be right now at this point in your life. And since getting here, I can say that this was the best decision right now, getting here after Stanford. I mean, it's been nothing short of phenomenal, my whole experience thus far.
You talked a little bit about your transfer process. Obviously, it was different than most people because you got time away.
Right.
You committed, and then you had to finish out with school.
Yes, sir.
What was it like being able to establish relationships with guys that you knew you were going to play with?
Yeah.
Because I know Ryan Swoboda talked about you at practice, doing practice reps and a full giddy up. And
yeah. I mean, obviously couldn't practice, but just watching the drills back when I came in spring on a visit, just kind of walking through behind them, seeing it, kind of just getting that in your head, oh, this is what I'm going to be doing. It was awesome. The downtime was tough being away from a football environment, not playing for a football team at that point, but knowing oh, this is where I'm going to be going. It was tough when you're not around guys all that time. You have that camaraderie when you're on a football team. When you're not with them, though, it's this is weird, right? You're in no man's land when you're not on a football team, and you're going to be on one soon. Obviously, a lot of FaceTime calls with Coach Hand and a lot of FaceTime calls with the guys. I have some of them on Xbox, so I was able to build that relationship and that kind of camaraderie while not on campus, but it's never the same until you get there. So getting here in June, I mean, we fished our butts off this summer. I mean, we were out there on lakes fishing all the time after training in the day, and it was a really fun summer with the guys, being able to kind of build and develop that relationship with them because, I mean, this unit is special. Our offensive line has so many great guys on it that are just wonderful people and great brothers. I mean, they've welcomed me into the family, and it's been nothing short of just a seamless process for getting to this football program, and it's been awesome.
We keep hearing about the depth along the offensive line. What have you seen about the competition during this camp?
It's great. I mean, I've been at Stanford, and at times, we've had like 6 healthy offensive linemen, and that is a scary process going into a football game where you're like, holy cow, like tight ends, time to learn how to like get on here and start learning how to do these things that we do on the offensive line. The competition has been amazing. Whenever you have competition, it brings out the best in all the guys that are competing for a certain spot. You have to prepare like it's game day every single day, because if you don't, you'll get edged out by the opponent every day until you realize you have to take this really seriously, because you're competing for a job, and what you put on film is your job resume. Coach Hand's going to see that. Coach Hinshaw's going to see that. Coach Malzahn's going to see that. They're all going to see it. They're going to evaluate it and say, I want that guy to start, or I don't want that guy to start. So when you go out to practice, you have to have a mentality of, I have to put my best foot forward today. I have to be on my A game, because if I don't, I'm not going to play. So you have to have that mentality of like, you have to be ready to get the job done on every single play. There can't be any loafs. There can't be any miscommunications. You just have to get everything right. And I think that's something that's been super important to me, is like, know everything. Like study your playbook, study the film, get to bed on time, put good stuff in your body, eat good foods, drink a lot of water with this heat. So it's been great, the process of competing right now, and I'm really excited for this football season. And I just, all I can say is I freaking love the guys on this offensive line. I mean, the guys are amazing. They're great guys.
Center QB relationship's very important.
Right.
What have you been getting involved with, like John Rhys? Obviously, you're both musicians.
Right.
So you have a little bit in common.
We're great friends off the field. I mean, I'm happy to say he's one of my best friends. We talk a lot, and we jack around a lot with each other. He's a real funny guy and jokester and likes to have fun off the field. He's obviously a big man of his faith, and I think that's really important to me, is having friends that kind of you are who you associate yourself with. So being around good guys is only going to make me a better guy as well. Having a good relationship off the field, obviously it transitions onto the field as well and helps. Being able to say, like, I love you off the field is like, I love you, dude, like, you're my brother. And then looking at him when we're in the huddle and being like, hey, like, I got your back. I'm not going to let anyone hurt you. Like, no one's going to touch you this rep. No one's going to touch you the next rep. You're going to rush for as many yards as you want this game. You're going to throw for as many yards as you want this game, because I got you, bro. Like, you have to have that connection with your quarterback, because if you don't care if the guy gets hit. Like, you don't care if he's getting hurt or, like, whatever, Like, you have to have that relationship with your quarterback, because if you don't, it's like, what does it mean? If I love that guy, it's like, I'm not going to let anyone touch you. I wouldn't let anyone hit my mom or my dad or my brother, I'm going to take care of those people because I love them. So, loving your guys next to you, loving it's the saying, loving your neighbor as yourself, but, like, loving the guys next to you on the offensive line is important too. Like, taking care of each other, making sure, like, he knows his stuff, I know my stuff, let's go get the job done now. So that center and quarterback exchange, though, is like, we have to be super tight, because it just means something more,
Have you and him had any piano bagpipe jam sessions?
No, but I think we will soon. I think there's there'd be a cool crossover with that. He comes over sometimes, strums my guitars and all that stuff. I have a few guitars at the house, and he just pulls them out and starts playing them. So he knows more than he doesn't necessarily know the guitar, but he knows some chords and stuff and can get around the guitar fretboard. So it's cool to be able to have that with him and to be able to kind of talk music and all that. But who knows? Maybe we'll see a little album crossover in the future, piano and bagpipes. Who knows?
I asked Bula about the picture he took with his daughter, and similarly when
holding his
similarly with your bagpipes,
right?
It all kind of went viral, at least for a day. So what was your phone like, and did it surprise you how much
it was nuts? Like I said, there's 72,000 kids here, and like the alumni is huge. So my phone was blowing up that day. Yeah, it was going crazy, and I was like, this is the real deal. This feels like a college football program, and I'm like so ecstatic to play for these guys.
What do you like about the sound that comes from a bagpipe?
Oh gosh, I've heard this before. I've heard strangled cat. I've heard all sorts of stuff people say about the bagpipe.
I wasn't disparaging it, but what do you like about it?
I've heard so many people say that though. It's great. It's just really cool to be able to put that on my back for my family, my heritage, and just to be able to play the bagpipes and kind of represent everything that it means to our family.
What's the most high-profile event that you've played?
So I played at the Highland Games before. Yeah, so where there's marches and all sorts of stuff like that. You have to play in time with the drummers and all that. So it's pretty fun. I played at my dad's 50th birthday. We had a Celtic rock band there. We played a few rock songs, Long Way to the Top on the bagpipes, AC/DC, stuff like that. So there's some songs that have bagpipes.
This kind of leads me into my question. What's your favorite song to play?
I would say obviously the traditional Scotland the Brave is a great one. That's just like the national song that everyone knows. just because he gets a kick. Everyone gets a kick out of it. But there's other songs like battle songs, marching songs into war that like really fire me up. Listening to them before games, it's like, okay, walk in, put the bagpipes on, I have other songs like that. But yeah, I'd say probably Scotland the Brave is a good one.
All eyes on this camp on the battle at center.
Yes, sir.
How are you being pushed by your competition?
Like I said, competition drives the best in everybody. It brings out the best in everybody. So competing right now against these other two guys, which are really, really good offensive linemen, is only bringing out the best in me every single day. So all I can say is that we're working really hard right now, and you guys will see pretty soon. So it's going to be a fun one in 14 days when we really put this thing on for real and get cracking out there against Kent State. It's going to be a real one.
What's the goal this season?
Win games. We want to win as many games as we possibly can. We want to win a championship. More importantly, for first and foremost, keeping John Rhys Plumlee safe. We want to keep that guy clean at all times. We don't want anybody to touch that guy because we want him to be able to do his job. But obviously, winning a championship, win as many games as we can. We're going to win a lot of games this year. And specifically on an offensive line unit, I want us to win the Joe Moore Award, best offensive line unit in the country. Coach Hand's got the guys to do it. He's the guy to do it, and we're going to do it this year.